Let's get straight to the point. You're standing in a basement that smells like copper and bleach, holding a gun that's still warm, and the man at your feet isn't moving anymore. Your hand doesn't shake. That's the part that scares you most. But before you understand how you got here, you need to know what you were before, and how little it takes to stop being that person. 6 months ago, you're waiting tables at a restaurant in Little Italy, 23 years old, student loans you'll never pay off, a father who needs medication that costs more than you make in a month. You're invisible, just another kid grinding through the American dream's brutal fine print. Then one night, a man in a suit that costs more than your yearly rent sits in your section. He knows your name, you don't know his. He leaves a $100 tip on a $30 check and a business card with just a phone number. No name, no company. Your manager sees it, goes pale, tells you to call. You ask why. He says, because people who don't call back get their restaurants burned down. Welcome to the interview process. The number connects you to a man named Sal, late 50s, voice like gravel in a blender. He asks about your father, knows the exact medication, knows your debt down to the dollar, says he has a job. Easy work, good pay. You ask what kind of job. He laughs, not unkindly. The kind where you don't ask questions. You meet him at a social club that looks like your grandmother's living room. Old men playing cards, espresso in tiny cups, Sinatra on the jukebox. Sal introduces you to Mr. Castellano. Older, quiet, expensive watch. He looks at you the way a jeweler examines a stone, assessing quality, checking for flaws. He asks one question. Your father. You'd do anything for him? You say yes. He nods. Good. Loyalty is our only currency here. Betray it, and you don't get a severance package. You get a closed casket. He slides an envelope across the table. 5,000 in. Cash. Your father's medication covered every month. You work for me now. The first job is simple. Drive a truck from point A to point B. Don't look in the back. Don't stop for anything. You do it. The truck handles heavy. You don't look. At point B, men unload boxes you never see. They hand you another envelope. $2,000 for 4 hours of not asking questions. You give it to your father. He cries, says you're saving his life. You don't tell him how. The second job is harder. You stand outside a restaurant while men go inside. You hear shouting, breaking glass, a scream. They come out. One has blood on his knuckles. He pats your shoulder. Good job. You didn't run. You didn't. You wanted to. But you didn't. That's the test. Not courage, compliance. The third job, they hand you a bat. Tell you a man inside owes money. Needs encouragement. You go in. The man is 50. Terrified. Begging. You think about your father, about the medication, about going back to waiting tables and watching him die slowly. You swing. Something breaks inside you. It's not the man's ribs. It's whatever made you different from them. 6 months in, you're not driving trucks anymore. You're collecting debts, managing street-level operations, sitting in on meetings where men decide who lives and who becomes a cautionary tale. Mr. Castellano likes you, says you're smart, disciplined, not greedy. In this business, that's a competitive advantage. He brings you closer. You meet the real players, the ones who own judges and union bosses and city councilmen. You learn the truth. Organised crime isn't organised despite the law. It's organised because of it. Every regulation creates a black market. Every prohibition creates an opportunity. You're not criminals. You're entrepreneurs in a brutally efficient meritocracy. The violence isn't the business. It's just HR policy. You rise fast. By 24, you're running a crew. By 25, you're making more in a month than your father made in a year. You buy him a house. He asks where the money comes from. You say investments. He doesn't push. People never push when the answer might cost them everything. But here's the thing about rising in an organisation where vacancies open when someone gets shot in the face. Everyone above you is a threat, and everyone below you is waiting for you to slip. You learn to sleep light, to check your car for bombs, to never sit with your back to a door. You learn that friendship is a liability and trust is a fairy tale. The man you called your best friend, you find out he's skimming. Mr. Castellano asks you to handle it. Not delegate, handle? You meet your friend at the social club. He knows why you're there. Begs, offers to pay it back. You think about saying yes. Then you think about what happens to people who show weakness. You take him to the basement, the one that smells like copper and bleach. He's crying. Saying your name like it's a prayer. You put 2 in his chest. Mr. Castellano watches. When it's done, he puts his hand on your shoulder. Good job, son. You realize you've been waiting your whole life to hear those words. Just not like this. The years blur. Blood and profit. You're 30 now. A made man. Untouchable. You have money, power, respect. You also have a body count you stopped tracking and a conscience you drowned in expensive scotch. Your father dies. Cancer, not poverty. You gave him 6 good years. That's what you tell yourself at the funeral. 6 years he wouldn't have had. You don't mention the 12 men you killed to buy them. The family, your real family now, sends flowers. Mr. Castellano himself attends. Afterward, he tells you you're being promoted, running all street operations. It's an honor. It's also a target. The higher you climb, the more people want to pull you down. You know this. You've done the pulling. But you're smart, careful. You think you're untouchable. That's when the FBI kicks in your door at 6 a.m. They have photos, wiretaps, testimony from men you trusted. Turns out loyalty is only currency until someone offers a better exchange rate. Your lieutenant flipped, gave them everything. You're looking at life without parole, unless they offer you the same deal. Testify, witness protection, new life. You'd be betraying everything, everyone, but you'd be alive. You think about your father, about the choice you made in that restaurant 6 years ago, about every choice since. You realize you've been dying by degrees this whole time. The you that waited tables and worried about student loans. He died in a basement holding a gun. What's left is just a ghost in an expensive suit. You take the deal. You testify. You watch men you called brothers get life sentences because of your words. Mr. Castellano looks at you from the defendant's table. Doesn't say anything. Doesn't have to. You know what you are. The trial ends. You're relocated. New name, new city, new life. You work construction now. Minimum wage. You're invisible again. Just another guy grinding through the day. Sometimes you pass a restaurant in Little Italy. See a kid waiting tables, tired eyes, hungry. You wonder if someone will leave him a business card. You wonder if he'll call. You know he will. Because people who don't call back get their restaurants burned down. And because when you're drowning, you don't ask questions about the hand that pulls you under. You just grab it and hold on. You're standing in your apartment now. Alone. Safe. Alive. The man you were is dead. The man you became is in prison. What's left is something in between. A ghost haunting his own life. You think about your father, about whether those 6 years were worth it. The answer changes depending on the day. Today, you don't know. Tomorrow, you probably still won't. But you'll wake up anyway, pour coffee, go to work, pretend you're just another guy with a past that doesn't matter. That's the real punishment, not prison, not death, living with what you did every single day forever. Let's get straight to the point. You joined the Mafia to save your father's life. You just didn't realize you'd have to kill your own soul to do it. And the most ironic part, you'd probably do it again.